Here we are. We're going to do a project today, which is a macrame feather. This is what it's going to look like when you finish. I still have to do some trimming. I have a template here, which I will put over top, and then I will finish the trimming so it looks like an actual feather. So this is what we're going to be making. I just want to point out we have a loop at the top. This is the center, and you'll notice that there are some ties one side the other. Bring it a little closer so you can see what those look like. So you have ties on one side and the other, and this is exactly what we're going to be doing. Okay, I'm going to put this to the side. In order to do this, I purchased some rope. It's just a cord rope, and it's 3 strands. When I take it apart, it's 3 strands. It's pretty soft, and as you can see, I bought it at the dollar store for $2. So this is what we're going to be using for our project. You're also going to need a pair of fabric scissors, a ruler, and you're also going to need some spray glue, and I used Elmer's Craft Bond. I don't know if you can see this or not, but this is the Craft Bond spray adhesive, and that is to hold the shape of the feather when you're completed it. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is you're going to cut one strand of the macrame rope, and you're going to cut it 20 inches long. As you can see, I have 2 pieces. I have already unraveled it. I used the other one in the new one. You want one of these strands, so we're going to take one, and I'll move the others to the side. We're going to hold it together there, and we're going to form a loop at the top. So this is exactly how we're going to start it. So this will form the center. When we've completed, we'll do the tying across from one side to the other, and this will be the loop at the top. The other thing you're going to need to do, you're going to need to cut some lengths of rope. These are 9 inches long. I cut 15 of mine, so we cut 15 of these, and once you've cut those 15, you also want to take them apart. So each one of the 15 will come into 3 different parts like this. So that'll give you 3 pieces of rope to work with. As you can see over here, I have a nice pile. So the 15 by 3, I have 45 pieces, so that means I'll probably have 1 piece left over. So these is the pile we're going to start with. So I want to take 2 of these strands. I'm going to form a loop, one on either side. We'll form a loop on this side as well. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take this loop and we're going to pass it underneath. So you see the loop end over here. We'll take this loop side and we're going to pass it underneath the loop, pull it through, just so you can see the 2 end pieces on this side. Then we are going to pull those through so they come over top. We'll hold both ends, and as you can see, it's going to knot in the middle. Keep it straight as possible. Pull it tight. Now, this is the first one, so you want to probably push it up a bit so you have a nice loop ready, and this will be the anchor part. So we're going to pull it nice and tight. So that's the first piece. So we've come in from this side. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take 2 loops, but this time we're going to pass it from the opposite side. We're going to come across this way. Make sure it's nice and even here. Same thing, make it nice and even. And then we're going to pull that loop underneath and through. Hope you can see that. Open this up so you can see the 2 strings on the other side. Pull the 2 strings up through the loop, hold the ends, and then we're going to pull that together, but not too tightly to start. You're going to push it up right next to the other knot, and you're going to pull it tight together. So now you have two loops, one coming from this way, one coming from that way. Now we're going to repeat this process each time. So two loops, start from the left over to the right, another loop here, up through the loop, over top of the strings, pull the strings through, and then pull them tight, and you can just pull down, so you bring them up to the top and pull them tight together. Now once again, we have to come from the opposite side. So we'll make two loops. I always lay them out so I know where I'm going with them. Push it in from the right side. The next loop underneath and over top, open it up to see the two strings. Pull the strings through the loop. Pull tightly, snug it up, and tighten it up again. So now we have four. Now you're going to continue all the way down until you hit the end. You will see something that looks similar to this once you've done all of your stitches or your knots all the way to the bottom. So the next important part is you're going to need a brush. And for me, I use this as a shoe brush, but it is absolutely perfect for doing what I want to do next. So what we want to do now is straighten out all of these strands, because we don't want them as big strands. We want them to now come through so that you've smoothed them right out, and then they're more detailed. It'll just take a second or two while I brush these out. Make sure you get them all. Sometimes they hide behind you. But you can see how it has a flatter effect than what it has on this side. So that's one side brushed out. Don't forget to do the bottom as well. Make sure we get all the strands. There's a couple hiding underneath here. So that's one side. This is the next side. The whole idea is to give it a more textured look rather than a bunch of strands of wool as it looked like here. I still had a few pieces left, but as you can see, these look like strands. This has a better effect than the other one. So we're going to brush it right out. This is so that we can shape it better. So try and get right up to the spine as close as you can. Oops, hold that one right off. Not good. Let's tie it a little tighter here. Make sure we have some good strands. As you can see, we now have a better shape to what we're going to be working with. Even though I've got it out to the side. Give it one more brush over here. Pull that down. Okay, so that's just a simple brush. You could also use a steel brush on this, and I gave this one a try as well, but it didn't do as well with for the style of brush that it was, but it can work well. I tried it on a yarn, but yarn doesn't seem to want to come apart as easily, but you want that nice rough effect. Okay, next step, once you've brushed that out, you're going to take your glue and you're going to spray it on both sides and let it dry. Now that I have brushed both sides, and I would have applied the spray glue to the front and to the back to let it dry, it'll be a little stiffer. So as the glue dries, you want to try and shape it into what you think would be the shape that you're going to use for your feather. For me, I'm just going to curve the ends, and to make sure I've got a good shape, I'm going to take one of the shapes that I had This one's a little narrower. If I wanted to with this narrow one, I could now take and try and smush it down into that area, and then I can trim around here and trim around the edge. And that will give you a good shape. You can take your scissors now at this point, and remember it's fabric scissors that you want to use, and you probably want to trim some of the edges off. There's a couple on this side, and you can see where it's a bit ragged. But I find with the fabric scissors it works much better, and you can end up with your final shape. I'm just going to move this over to the side for 1 second. And here's what the final shape will look like. I will be able to take this, and I should be able to hang it up without it losing its shape. Oh, it's pretty hard to see because there's a small area here. So let's move it down a bit. I can take this and it will hold its shape with between the glue and the trimming. So don't forget to download your template so that you can decide what shape feather you want. Remember, you can always shape it in so it comes as a smaller one or a nice wide one such as this one. I do hope you enjoyed this project.